Welcome everybody to the Prolonged Engagement Show. This is the first of its kind ever. It's a new idea that I have thought of, and so we are going to call these.
How you say you thought of it.
I did
collaborate.
I did think about it. I did think about it, and then I went to you, and you said it was a great idea. So therefore, there's our collaboration. You can be all happy about it.
Thank you.
This is what we are going to call the special episodes. And so this is going to be something like if we finish if we watch a movie and we really want to talk about it, but we don't want to wait to talk about it. Like we have a lot of pent up things. So today is Tuesday, so this is going live Wednesday at noon, and so Monday was May the 4th.
It was also.
Oh, before I get into all this, so you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Sound Overlord. Sarah is
at the Dark Raven 13,
and you can follow the show at TPE_show. Go to theprolongedengagement.com for all of our video and audio. You can also go to youtube.com/theprolongedengagement All right. So let's get into this. If you're paying attention to what is behind us on our TV screen, this is going to be a Star Wars episode.
We should
we've
switched though.
Been talking about Star Wars a lot, but we wanted to instead of putting into the show, we had a lot of things that we were, Of course, Monday was May 4th. May the 4th be with you and all that good stuff.
Today is Revenge of the 5th.
Today is Revenge of the 5th. And I am going to have a lot to say about Revenge of the Sith. This is going to be one-sided. A lot of this is going to be one-sided.
I can talk.
Just because I will rant, and then I will allow you to say something, and then I'll rant some more. It's probably how it's gonna end up.
Yeah, because you're the one who was always the super fan.
Well, because I was ranting last night.
Yeah, you were ranting last night, and also the fact that how do I explain this? As a kid growing up, my mom had one favorite, which was like the one we always watched.
Return of the Jedi.
So it's not a bad movie. It really isn't.
No, Return of the Jedi is fantastic.
It's the only one I really kind of have memories about.
Well, when you're forced to watch only Return of the Jedi over and over and over again, you kind of forget what the rest of the films were about.
Yeah. Like, it's not anything bad. It really isn't. But my first thing that I noticed, because it's very true, unfortunately.
Well, I want to give us some backstory about this whole thing.
Well, I wanted to just say this first, because then you'll roll over me.
No, I won't. I promise. I just want to say this one thing, and then I'll go back to what, because
I might forget
I really want you to say what you're going to say, but I think that we need some backstory on this.
Okay.
Okay. So, like Sarah said, Return of the Jedi
is my mom's favorite.
Yes, is your mother's favorite. So anytime that we would say, hey, well, we want to watch the Star Wars movie, your mom would initially go, oh, okay, well, then it has to be Return of the Jedi. No, I wanted to watch a different Star Wars movie, not Return of the Jedi. No. If you're going to put on Star Wars, it's going to be Return of the Jedi. I'm like, okay. So we end up watching. We did 1, 2, and 3 first, and then
we watch it during dinner, and then after we finish our studies, we'd watch the rest. And
then we ended up watching 4, 5, and 6. Okay,
so we watched it in order.
Mm-hmm. So in order of timeline, not in order of when the movies were actually made. But since we had seen Return of the Jedi so many times and not the other ones, it was kind of like watching them over again for the first time, because even though I remembered what the movies were about, I remembered their outcomes, the things of that nature, I forgot pretty much all of the interlocking that the movies did and the things that happened, and the tiny things. Like when I was watching A New Hope, I said, wait a minute, these droids are on with Princess Leia. Okay, so they're out in they get into the escape pod. How did they get with Luke? And what is that? And then I was like, oh, the Jawas get them, and then the Jawas take them to the thing. I was like, I totally forgot that.
Let me do a warning for everybody, because you're gonna be, what the hell?
Oh, I forgot to.
You want to go fix that? Can I do my warning? Yeah. Okay, so Kyle will be speaking in Star Wars speak, which means that everything that he says is the proper terms, while I'm going to be talking over here about certain characters and creatures and
when
using
you say
my own
them,
terms.
when you say them, I will say the correct one unless I really don't know the name of it.
Because the ones you just said.
The Jawas?
Yeah,
they're the little guys. They're the short
they're the
ones.
they're the
with
red-eyed dudes.
Yellow. No, they're yellow.
Oh, they're yellow?
They're light up yellow eyes.
Jawas. It looks like they took Christmas lights and put them through.
Mm-hmm.
That's what so, but who's the red-eyed guys then? They look exactly the same, but they have red eyes. Yes, they are, because it's in the later films, and they're in Jabba's bar, or not Jabba. What the fuck is this?
Jabba's palace?
Yes, Jabba's palace.
Okay.
And they're all hanging out there, and there's these guys who look exactly like them.
No, they had yellow eyes.
They had yellow?
Yeah.
I swore they had red.
Now I will go back and show you in Jedi where they don't
You know
have
exactly
red
what I'm
eyes.
talking about, though.
I know exactly what you're talking about. What I'm telling you is that none of them have
Christmas
red eyes.
lights eyes.
None of them have red eyes. It's all yellow.
Okay.
I will go back and show you that it's yellow. But at any rate.
But yeah, you'll hear me. One of the creatures, I call them teddy bears.
Ewoks.
I can't. But I call them green bitches.
Green bitches.
The green and blue bitches.
You mean the one that gets dropped down in the...
No, there's one that's a Jedi, and she's green. And then there's other ones that are green and blue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They may be the same species. I have no idea.
You're the one that's supposed to know that stuff.
No, I don't know. I don't know everything.
But yeah, you'll hear me say stuff like that. Like, I know the main characters' names. I know Chewbacca.
I'm happy for you.
Do
you know Han Solo?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then we should be okay.
But I will warn you guys, if we start talking about creatures and such, I'm gonna be describing how they look in my own names.
Okay.
Because like the teddy bears sound like chihuahuas, and I didn't know that Grip Hook.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the teddy bears when he was 12 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The spunky one he's like, oh, come with me and come flirt with me, and I'm all cute.
I don't remember his name.
You know exactly the actor.
I knew his name. I knew his name at one point. No. I mean, I knew the name of the Ewok.
Yeah.
The actual Ewok's name.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yep.
I knew that name at one point.
He was 12. He was 12 years old at filming.
Cool.
So.
I told you all the Ewoks were midgets, and you were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yes."
They were either midgets or children.
Mm-hmm.
I actually looked it up. I was like, so like 50% are midgets, 50% are children.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
This
what?
is a lot. Yeah.
So like the taller ones you see are technically children.
Yeah.
And then they also have little babies that are hand puppets.
Mm-hmm. Lots of puppetry.
Oh, lots of puppetry. I love puppetry.
Gives it a more older feel, labyrinthy.
I love Labyrinth.
I hate Labyrinth. That's awful.
We might do.
We're not talking about Labyrinth.
I
We're talking
know.
about Star Wars.
Sorry.
Okay.
Elsa's trying to get up. Give me a sec. Come here.
So the
Come on.
so we started with the prequel trilogy, which was episodes 1, 2, and 3, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. Now,
Of course, you're going over there.
Now, going through these movies, see, these movies, they had a special place, and the in my heart. The first one, so Phantom Menace came out in 1999.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Way to
Revenge
make
of the
me feel
Sith.
old.
Revenge of the Sith came out right after we started dating in 2005.
Yeah.
So
Like literally, I think it was like a week or a month or something.
no, it was in the beginning of this. It was probably came out in May, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's when, the start of the summer blockbusters and whatnot. But
I also have a story with that one, but
how I said that I was going to dress up.
yeah,
and-
because I dressed up, full cosplay, dressed up. I even put my hair in the Leia buns
Mhm.
on the side of my head,
Mhm.
which took me like honestly 2 hours to do. Kyle had promised to dress up as Han Solo.
Mhm.
You came to the theater not dressed up.
Were you here when we went over episode
I'm still
10?
angry with that. Still
You
angry.
know, and I told everyone my home situation.
I know,
at
but
that
still,
time.
it just made me really upset because I was like, "You promised."
Any rate, so
Come here.
so the movies come out between the times that we're 8 and 12.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Come here.
Okay, so an 8-year-old, I had already seen 4, 5, and 6 before the time
girl.
of being 8 years old. Now watching the new movies, watching what they could do with the CGI and things
It
of
looks
that
cool as a
nature,
kid.
and it looks damn effing cool when you're between the ages of 8 and 12.
Yeah.
Still looks cool today. I say that the special effects in there were very good. The and it's just because of the the technological things that they had to worry that they had to film every single one of those ships separately against a blue screen, had to put them all together. We last night we ended up watching a special effects thing on YouTube
Special effects
about
and
what they had to do
what
to
they
go
are-
into it.
Yeah, what they did to create the effects of the battle scenes and such. What are you?
Mm-hmm. And then so they're limited on the amount of ships that they can put in there and things of that nature, which they were not limited in 1, 2, and 3. They could put in massive amounts of ships. That damn star battle in episode 3 at the very, very beginning is just freaking phenomenal. When there's just tons of the huge star destroyers and then the Federation starships around there, and then there's all these different little fighters going in and out, and then here's Anakin and Obi-Wan, they're flipping over their damn things, they're just flying all crazy and shit, and I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. And so I stand by my thing that I said before. I said I am not one of those people that say that 1, 2, and 3 don't exist,
You done?
because I believe that they were good movies. However, it is really, really hard when you go back and you watch these movies as an adult, when you watch the entire saga as an adult, and you piece things together that, you're like, as a kid, you're like, oh, well, I just take it for granted because I'm a kid and I don't know any better. And then you watch this as an adult and you're like, well, hold up. That doesn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't add up. And that doesn't add up. And what I'm talking about are the things that you hear and the things that go on
Things that
in
are
4, 5, and
spoken.
6. Things that are said. things that happen. And you're like, hold on, if we're going with the canon of 1, 2, and 3, what you just said doesn't make any
Negates it.
sense. And what just happened doesn't make any sense. You know?
I know what you're talking about because you had a rant about it last night.
It killed me. Killed my insides because I told myself I would
And-
never be that sort of person that says 1, 2, and 3 don't exist. But if you're going to sit there and you're going to, create a canon story for Star Wars, you have to take 1, 2, and
You have
3
to-
out of the equation because they don't match up.
Can I play devil's advocate for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of your major complaints
Mm-hmm.
was just the character Qui-Gon Jinn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people remember Qui-Gon Jinn.
He was only in the first.
He was only in
only in
episode
episode
1.
Mm-hmm.
And only in that one episode he is which makes me wonder if, because in 6, 7, and 8 or 6,
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, 6, I was going into the future.
In 6, 7, and 8.
No.
You mean Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, and an unknown.
An unknown at this
Mhm.
moment. No. 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan.
You can say the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy.
Okay, so in the original trilogy, you see, or no, prequel trilogy. Sorry, my brain's all messed up. I'm still really tired from yesterday. You see Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Padawan, but with Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes.
He says the line, I know this line is said. Says something to the effect of, I took you under my wing when no one else would. Or something to that effect.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Maybe. Go on.
And then, but even within the first 3 movies, that's not what happens. Because I know there was a time when Ewan McGregor says something about being trained by Yoda as a child. What is your problem?
Okay, what are you talking about?
Okay,
You're really
because-
confusing
Because
me.
this switch changes 3 times.
Okay.
He says, I was trained by Yoda in the original trilogy.
Uh-huh.
In the prequel trilogy, you see him trained by Qui-Gon Jinn, and he says a line about being trained by Yoda as a child.
I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I don't think
Let
that's
me
right,
look
though.
it up.
I really don't think that's right.
Because there's discrepancies. And so I'm wondering if when he was saying, oh, I was trained by Yoda in the last 3, he was actually talking about as a child. Nope. Based upon canon, Qui-Gon Jinn was... don't know if you can even hear me because this stupid thing's at my nose and not my mouth. There we go. Qui-Gon Jinn was Obi-Wan's mentor.
Okay.
So, based upon canon, which then in the other trilogy doesn't make sense.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying. So in Empire, so in episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Luke goes to Yoda. And so Yoda's acting all crazy, trying to see how patient Luke is. And then so...
Which really fucked me up, because I got confused.
Yeah, you were like, wait a minute, Yoda doesn't act like this. Like, that's not how Yoda acts. And then I was like, hold up. And then Sarah's like, he was putting it on. And I was like, yeah, he was. Fuck yeah. But Yoda ends up talking to Obi-Wan and says, the boy, he has no patience. I can't I can't. And Obi-Wan saying things like, "Well, was I any different when you taught me? And when you found me, I was the same way. And when and then he goes on to tell Luke, Yoda was my master." Okay, nowhere in the original trilogy is Qui-Gon mentioned.
Yeah.
And he's straight up, I mean, there's
Ignored.
straight up nothing said about him at all.
Even at the very end of the movie, which I don't even know. Is this a spoiler?
Sarah,
What?
if there is a person on this planet that has not seen Star Wars, then their life is in ruin and they need to go watch it now.
Okay, so at the very end where you have Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who in the original film I actually found out was not Anakin Skywalker, but the actor who was the body for Darth Vader.
Yes, I do have the VHSs. I also have we have the laser discs.
Yes,
too.
I know that.
And I showed you the once again, Return of the Jedi, only one that we were able to watch. I showed you in Return of the Jedi. In Return of the Jedi, I showed you how it was the original music.
Yes.
Right? You remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, you remember
that I liked more.
Yeah, which makes a lot more sense, and I hate that they switched the music out on it.
They turned into some like R&B shit.
I don't like it at all. The Blu-rays just don't give it just no.
We'll talk about that in a second.
But like in the VHSs that I have as well, those show what it originally was as well. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you do.
No, I totally lost
the original actor of Darth Vader.
Right. Yes, he is in. So if you watch it on the Laserdisc or the VHS, it's that guy.
Yes.
So they didn't when they re-released them on DVD. When they re-released Star Wars on DVD.
And they souped it up or whatever the hell they call it.
Well, no, they when they re-released them on VHS in the 90s.
Still the same.
In the 90s, it was still the same.
Yeah.
So the original, but they had mastered the sound on the VHS.
Yeah, they fixed the sound.
So no, they had mastered the sound.
Is there a difference?
Yes, I won't get into that. They had mastered the sound. And so then it was VHS, so it was, I guess they could do a little bit more with it than they could. No idea. But it was the VHSs had the originals. And it wasn't until the DVDs that they ended up changing things to match the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So in the end, they changed Anakin Skywalker's ghost from being who he was when they opened up Darth Vader's helmet in Return of the Jedi to shitty old Hayden Christensen, which doesn't make any effing sense because guess what? Darth Vader don't look like that. So and if they were going to go with one thing, they should have gone all the way and they should have changed frickin' Alec Guinness to Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
That would have been a travesty because Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan.
Well, he's Ben Kenobi.
No, he is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
They don't ever call him Obi-Wan Kenobi, though.
Ewan McGregor.
They never call him Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, he does.
They call him it
in Return of the Jedi.
Twice.
He sits there and goes,
twice.
Obi-Wan? I'm here with Ben Kenobi.
Luke.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, you are my only hope.
Luke calls him Ben Kenobi.
No. Okay.
Luke calls him Ben Kenobi.
Ewan McGregor, when he was cast as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequel trilogy, he watched the original trilogy
to get the correct characteristics down.
He mimicked Alec Guinness's portrayal of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Because he wanted it to make sense.
Because Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
Even
But my
Ewan
problem-
McGregor says that
my
Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan
Problem
Kenobi.
with this, you're not listening to me
Mhm.
again. My problem with this, though, is that with that, if they were going to have that there, they should have had all the Jedis that died. If you're gonna bring back all the Jedis, you should have had Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes, I agree with that. If you're going to go with the prequel trilogy canon,
Yes.
okay, it was Qui-Gon who discovered how to be in that
Yes.
ghosty form with the Force.
Yep.
And so Yoda sends Obi-Wan
To go learn it.
to go learn that. Okay. And so Yoda, of course, he was going to learn it on his own in his
Swamp.
in his exile on Dagobah. Now, I mean, still, that's even confusing why Anakin is there at the end.
Because
But-
because if you really truly look at it that way, that should not have been Hayden Christensen, because at the very end,
But you
Darth Vader becomes good again.
but you don't. You also don't. You don't know what Darth Vader had been doing when he was meditating in his chamber either. Could have been doing that thing. So he
Learning.
would have. He could have been learning how to do that after death. So that
Why would he be learning that after death, though?
learning how to do that after death.
Learning how to be ghosty goo form.
After death.
Yes, why?
Well, he would have. It's only him. It's only him and the Emperor are the only people that know the knowledge of the Force, other than Obi-Wan and Yoda. Okay.
Yes, but answer me this.
For years.
Because why would he do that when he's the only one now? There's obviously no one on the other side that he gives a shit about.
It's
There's
not
no
about
one-
that.
No, there's
Coming
yes,
back
it
as
does.
a Force is coming back as your own. It's.
It does have to do with that, because the reason that Ben did it was so that then he could still communicate with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, you ready to understand this?
Hmm.
Why the hell would Darth Vader learn that? There was no one that he needed to communicate with. And since there's this 2 Sith at a time thing, why would the hell would he stay around?
I don't know.
Exactly. He should not have been there in the first place. End of story. The
No,
end.
it makes-
Qui-Gon Jinn should have been there, not Darth Vader, not Anakin Skywalker.
I don't agree with that at
I
all.
do.
I think that he should have been there at the end. It was a good ending for the movie.
It's a movie ending though.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's wrap this up in a nice
That-
little bow.
Right. That is something that you just have to take. That is not a serious flaw. You can actually extrapolate that. That's not saying that is not the same as C-3PO being with Owen and Beru on Tatooine for close to 10 years or so, and then later on C-3PO comes back to the farm, and Owen and Beru have no fucking clue who the hell C-3PO is. That
is
a
a
hole.
major issue.
That is a hole. What you're saying about Darth Vader not
Still
being
an
there,
issue.
you can extrapolate that.
You
That
can-
is not a hole.
You can try to. Like, part of me wants to say, okay, the other people brought him in as a father, being like, you know what, my son's done well. Look at my son and daughter. They're doing good in this world and killed me. Or whatever. Like, you can see it that way even. But I still say Qui-Gon Jinn should have been there.
I agree. If Qui-Gon Jinn was the person that learned that first and was the whole reason why Yoda and Obi-Wan learned to do that in the first place, yes, he should have been there. Which, in saying that, makes no sense why Qui-Gon Jinn is even a freaking character.
Like, I love Liam Neeson.
Qui-Gon Jinn should not have been in Star Wars at all. He makes no sense.
Okay. You ready to hear why they put Qui-Gon Jinn there and not Yoda with...
Because they wanted to cast
Obi-Wan?
Liam Neeson or something?
No.
What?
They can't kill Yoda.
That's right.
They can't kill Yoda. But they can kill this random master who has nothing to do with any other storyline. That is why they put that character in.
At any rate.
So, because he's not ever talked about in 2 or 3. He is never talked about again until the end of 3.
He's talked in 2.
When?
Did you miss that?
When
Obi-Wan goes to Camino and finds out that they have been creating a clone army for the Republic.
I know that one, yes.
They say, can you go speak to your master, Cypher Diaz,
Yeah.
and say that we are on schedule? Obi-Wan says, Master who? And they said, Master Cypher Diaz is still a member of the Jedi Council, is he not? And then he says, Master Cypher Diaz was killed almost 10 years ago. That's Qui-Gon Jinn. Cypher Diaz is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Then why did they say Qui-Gon Jinn?
I have no fucking clue why they don't say Qui-Gon Jinn, okay?
Because that leads me to believe that Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't a Jedi. That leads me to believe that he was with the dark side.
But then again, he says, when Obi-Wan goes to Jango Fett and says, you obviously know Master Cypher Diaz. And so he says, no, I've never heard of him. He goes, that is the man that told you to do this job, right? And he goes, no, I was confronted by a man called Tyrannus.
Yeah.
Which is Count Dooku.
Who trained
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Which means Qui-Gon is a Sith.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, Qui-Gon is a Jedi.
No, he's not. Why would he be sneaking around under a false pretense?
I don't know why he would be sneaking around.
And trying to create a clone army.
I don't know.
Because he's not a Jedi.
Maybe so. But I don't think that it was Cypher Diaz who did it. I don't think that it was Qui-Gon who created the army. Because Jango says that it was a man called Tyrannus that came to him saying that you needed to do this job. I believe that Count Dooku went to Camino and said, I am Master Cypher Diaz. I am...
Under the false pretenses.
Yeah, I think that he was the one that said, my name is...
Because that goes back to the...
And then so, but in the end, if the things hadn't transpired the way that they did, they could go and they could say, well, Qui-Gon was behind this, and not see that Dooku was part of the Sith at that point.
Oh, okay.
I think that might have been a ruse.
Because if you look...
That still doesn't... Okay, so I know that we're talking about things that came in the prequel trilogy, which need to be taken out completely because they don't exist.
Because what should have happened... Because honestly...
I'm not saying that those movies aren't good.
No.
They're good, except for Hayden
Christensen. Can I say this now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the whole problem was that they needed a Jedi to kill for that first film with Darth Maul so that Obi-Wan could get upset and do epic battle.
Yes.
That's all that Qui-Gon was used for.
Okay, I can go with that.
That's all he was good for.
All right.
Because they couldn't use Yoda and they can't kill Yoda.
All right.
Which they could have just changed that film and killed Darth Maul quicker.
I just don't understand why he couldn't have been. Why the movie had to start when it did. Then why couldn't they have just said? Why? It doesn't make any effing sense. Why couldn't they have just made Obi-Wan a master at that point that hadn't taken a Padawan yet, and he could have found Anakin? I just don't understand why Qui-Gon had to be a part of that at all. And then so,
I think part of it was that they were like, we need a really good name for this film or else it won't sell. Liam Neeson, he's a pretty badass guy. Let's make a role for him.
I mean,
like how they made a role for Samuel Jackson.
There's also the thing where, so the whole premise of that is that Qui-Gon is the one that finds Anakin. Qui-Gon is the one that takes it upon himself to train Anakin. And when Qui-Gon dies, he tells Obi-Wan that he must continue the training with Anakin. And so, out of respect for his master...
Can you be careful you keep waking up the baby?
Well, maybe she should go somewhere else. Out of respect for his master, Obi-Wan decides that he is going to train Anakin. Now, this is totally different than what Obi-Wan says in Return of the Jedi. He says, I took it upon myself to train him.
Train the boy.
I found him, and I took it upon myself to train him. I just don't understand why they had to go on and add this floofy character that doesn't mean shit, and they had to bring him into it just to make it so Obi-Wan would get mad and cut Darth Maul in half.
That's all it was for. Darth Maul's a useless character. I swear they must have seen him
this is George Lucas, the fucking guy that wrote the original trilogy.
I'm sorry,
and so he sits there and goes, I'm just gonna fuck all my shit. What was the point of all that? I don't get it. I just don't. I just don't. Anyway.
I just put on Facebook Elfie.
So here we go.
While we're doing special episode 1.
I'm going to continue to rant here.
Can I say
what,
something?
What? Go.
Okay, so
otherwise I am going to rant.
I
know.
The second episode with Grievous.
No, Grievous was in episode 3.
Oh, he's in 3. Okay, well, I have never made it through Grievous' scene.
Yeah, you were falling asleep during that scene.
I always fall asleep during Grievous' scene. I don't know why. I will pass out completely asleep, so I always miss Grievous' end.
The problem with Grievous is that he's around for one movie, and he's only around for half of that movie.
And he's kind of useless.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, they were like, we need to make these movies really stupidly long. Let's just grab random characters and make them up.
Mm-hmm. That was straight up making them up. And
Grievous doesn't even make any sense as a character himself.
There is just too much time in between the movies of the prequel trilogy. So between 1 and 2 is 10 years, and we actually know that. So we actually know that it's 10 years. And then between 2 and 3, you have no idea how long that is. But you obviously know that the war has been ravaging on for at least a couple years.
Longer.
At least a couple years.
At least.
So
it's just too long of a period before.
There's a lot and there's the problem with writing prequels is that there is just too much that needs to happen.
That's not true at all. I think you could have taken the prequel movies, cut them down into one movie.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. You could find Anakin as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Like you do Luke.
No. I think that you had to find Anakin as a boy.
Then you could have done it.
You needed films. No, because you need Anakin's. You need Anakin's. You need that change to the dark side, and you can only get that from his initial love for his mother, and then his fear of losing Padme. That's what led him to the dark side. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you needed him as a small boy, missing his mother, going back, seeing his mother dead,
dying
and
in his
dying
arm.
in his arms, and then him killing all the sand people. And then, you know, at the end of 2, he ends up marrying Padme. And then, so 3 is his, you know, move of, you know, now I have this other person that I care about that I cannot see die in my life.
Not just that, but he has visions of her death.
Mm-hmm. Which, going back to our last show, I believe that those visions were brought on by Palpatine. Just,
I do too.
this is going to happen.
I fully believe that Palpatine is behind it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in the other last 3,
Mm-hmm.
he has the line, "I had my hand in everything."
Mm-hmm. It just, yeah.
It is like him saying, "Hey, guess what? My fault. The war, my fault. The Empire, my fault. Anakin's creation, my fault."
You know, I single-handedly created 2 armies, created a war for those 2 armies to fight each other.
Yep.
Extinguished the war on my own, and created a galactic empire. I mean, how fucking badass is that? Seriously.
That's not badass. That's
No,
evil.
it's pretty badass to
evil.
start your to come from really nothing. You're a senator in a senate of thousands of systems, and you become,
you don't even know what system
you become
he's from.
chancellor, and then you get everyone to pledge their allegiance to you, the entire galactic senate to pledge their allegiance to you and create and let you become an emperor.
You know, there's
of the
only
galaxy.
only one other person I could see playing this role.
What?
As well.
Hmm.
Come on, babe.
What?
You know who it is.
Gerard Way.
No.
What?
Playing Palpatine as well.
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I don't know.
The guy from House of Cards.
Oh, Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
After seeing him in House of Cards.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He is fantastic, though.
He could play Palpatine.
God, he is good. He is really good. If you haven't seen House of Cards, watch that shit. It's fantastic.
It's very good, but it makes me hate Kevin Spacey as a human being.
Oh yeah, you just don't like him as a human being.
I found out he got a puppy, and I was like, he does not deserve the puppy.
Yeah, no, that was funny.
And Kyle was like, he's not a bad guy. I was like, no, he is. He's a horrible human being. He doesn't deserve a puppy. And yeah.
But as it goes.
I'm sorry. I still had too much joy when I found out that the guy is in jail currently.
Mm-hmm. But
there was a lot of people who commented on it like, yes, he's in jail.
So I mean that's
I'm sorry.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I said I would never be that person that that says the prequel trilogy doesn't exist. But if we're going on to create a new Star Wars movie, so The Force Awakens, you can't sit there and say that those movies happened, because you can't. You cannot. Because the canon is wrong in those movies.
Yeah.
And J.J. Abrams has already said, don't worry, 1, 2, and 3 never existed. The only way that you're going to create a sequel to the original trilogy is to only take the original trilogy's canon.
Mm-hmm.
Because it will not make sense if you take anything else.
I'm sorry. If any real mega Star Wars fans saw this, we'd have a war on our hands.
What do you mean? Mega Star Wars fans believe that 4, 5, and 6 are the only Star Wars movies.
No, because I've actually met people who are like, no, I like the 1, 2, and 3 best, and blah, blah, blah.
I do too. I like 1, 2, and 3, and I will say before, there was a lot of time in my life where I said that 1, 2, and 3 were better.
Yeah.
Because I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as a child, you sit there and you look at 1, 2, and 3, and you go, wow, these battle sequences are way
so
cooler.
cool.
These lightsaber battles are way
no,
cooler.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say something.
Hmm.
I honestly think what they did in the
Prequel? Original?
was so much cooler.
What do you mean?
When you look at the back behind the scenes stuff with it, it is 10 times cooler.
Oh, yeah, way cooler. No. Way cooler what they were actually able to
Like-
do with the technology that they had.
Yes, like the fact that every laser you see, every lightsaber you see, they are cut into the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's great.
Like, that's fantastic. I am sorry, I am moving too much for you. She just huffed. Because I didn't want her to lay down there because she kept moving and her head was falling off.
Mhm.
I didn't want her to fall off and hurt herself.
But and then I actually saw behind the scenes of like episode 2. So like when Padme and Anakin are running through that droid factory or whatever,
You mean CGI screen?
it was literally Padme running on a conveyor belt that was made out of a green screen.
Yeah.
And so she was just ducking under pieces of green blocks, and then they
Which
just
is
created
nowhere
everything.
near as cool as what they did for the originals.
Right, they had to build everything
They
from
built it.
Yeah, they built everything. And then the coolest thing I found of that video that we were watching last night was when
The glass tech, whatever.
Yeah. So there's actually a thing. So when Obi-Wan is taking down that main reactor,
Yeah.
in A New Hope, you see this huge expanse of where he is. This reactor just, sitting in the middle of absolutely nowhere in this huge drop. In order to create, it would have been insane to create an actual set that looked like that. So they only created
thing
it
he
was
walks on.
the reactor itself and then the walkway that went into it. The rest of it was this guy had painted on glass and cut out like a mask. Cut out a mask in the glass of where the reactor
Set
and the
would
bridge
be.
would have been, where the set would actually be. And then so they filmed the glass. They took a picture of the glass and then they just laid it over the film.
Mm-hmm.
They took the picture of the glass and laid it on top of the film, and that's how they created that sequence.
Would you like to hear something really
I
cool?
freaking lost my mind. What?
Really cool. So the entrance of the Emperor.
Hmm?
The entrance of the Emperor in the original trilogy.
Mhm.
You know all those
In
actors?
Jedi, when they have
Those aren't actors.
isn't it a mirror, right? What?
They're all painted.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. So they're all mannequins?
No.
What?
The guy painted.
Really?
It's all glass paint.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. But
So think about that.
mhm.
The actual cast of this was quite small.
Yeah.
It was a very small cast. Most of it was done with these amazing effects.
Mhm.
Like they had, I don't remember exactly what it was said, but the explosions on the Death Star had to be created themselves.
Yeah.
Like that blew my friggin' mind.
They had to build the like a square like kind of swatch
Yeah.
of what the outside of the Death Star would look
Look
like. And then they actually had to like put explosives in this swatch
Mhm.
and like film like a camera going through as things are blowing up in its path. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's
And
just
then they
cool.
had to film special little, what are they called? Special ships.
Mhm.
Just for explosions.
Mhm.
Which I was like, that would have sucked to be that person.
Like the snow speeder where
Yep.
they put the explosives in the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they lit it on fire and let it come down this wire, and they just shot it from a bunch of different angles. They said it took them 8 hours to create like a second and a half of actual film time.
The speeders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what they're freaking called.
Snow speeders on Hoth?
No.
What?
The Jungle Planet.
Oh yeah.
With the teddy bears.
Mm-hmm. That is the forest moon of Endor.
Well, the
It's a trap.
No, I don't know what they're called.
Those little speeders.
The bikes.
The bike speeders.
Yes. So, how many of those do you think they made?
I don't know, like 50 of them.
Over 100.
Yeah.
Because they had them in like itty bitty,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had them in a little bit bigger and a little bit. They only had one full size.
Oh really?
I had one full size.
Yeah,
So-
and then I looked at the blue
So,
screen.
like, actually imagine you're filming this, and the reason that you don't actually see, like, them technically together,
Mm-hmm.
like, in a single shot, is because they only have one of these things for a person to ride at a time.
Yeah.
So, and every time you see it explode, it's,
Mm-hmm.
they had to make a seamless cut,
Mm-hmm.
remove the little toy bike, and put an explosion.
Yeah.
So if you actually watch the film very, very closely, you'll see the cut where the bike disappears and see the explosion take off.
Mm-hmm.
I
They
just
also said
think-
that they had created these new computer controlled cameras
Mm-hmm.
to where the camera would move the same way
Every
through
time.
the shot, whatever, and so they were able to add, okay, well then we're gonna put the Millennium Falcon in this one, and then they would go through the shot, and they said, okay, well we need an X-wing in this area, and then they go through the shot. Oh, we need an X-wing in this area, and so we need an A-wing here. Oh, and then a TIE fighter over there,
Yeah.
and then they go, and it would just do the same shot over and over again.
See, to
and
me,
then they
that
would
is
lay
real
the film
yeah.
over. Yeah.
To me, that's real filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Is that ache and pain of having to do something hundreds of times because you have to make this look right. That's real filmmaking.
Well, and then so
because
here's-
they cared about making it look good,
right.
and now you can do it all on a computer.
And I think that's kind of where the prequel trilogy failed at.
Yes.
I think that they wanted to just make it look cool, and so they didn't do enough building.
Yes.
They didn't do enough of
They
the
trusted a
regular-
computer too much,
They trusted a computer to do everything.
and it pisses me off.
Including and
Pisses
it's
me
even changed. If we look at the Blu-ray of Episode 1, you
Yeah.
know that Yoda was CGI.
Which, yes.
You saw that.
Yeah.
In the 1999 release of The Phantom Menace,
He was a
Yoda
puppet.
was a puppet.
Okay. Let's see how well if you knew this.
Hmm.
So for certain filming, they actually had an actor
Mm-hmm.
as Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
They also had a monkey for Yoda.
Oh, really?
They dressed the monkey fully up in a mask and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and have him walk.
Oh.
To get the
Oh, just to get the movement right?
correct movement.
That's what they
Because
said.
he's so small.
When they were doing the AT-ATs,
They had to watch elephants.
they had to watch elephants walk. That was way cool. To get the right, because they had to do those all with stop motion
Uh-huh.
film as well. So
And to me, that's so much more powerful that someone took the time
mm-hmm.
to make the AT-ATs. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't friggin' know. Sorry. I just call them the four-legged walkers.
Most people just call them Imperial walkers.
Oh.
But
Well, you
they're
have
AT-ATs.
you have the little walkers with the 2 legs, and then you have the big walkers with the 4 legs.
Mm-hmm.
But
so the
each
big walkers with the 4 legs are called AT-ATs.
ATs.
The ones with 2 are called AT-STs.
Okay. Well, but that took someone time to build.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they built it, they had to make it move and
Mhm.
create the movement.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they knew they were going to have to blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a second. You have spent 6 months of your life building this thing
And so this
to,
is
that to blow up.
so here's what because I've been looking into what J.J. Abrams is doing for The Force Awakens. So with the original trilogy, they didn't like build anything. They relied on computer
Generation for
on
everything.
CGI for fucking everything.
Which
so I
isn't a
believe
bad
that it
thing,
kind of
but
it's not a bad thing. It makes it look clean and crisp. However,
it
I
makes
don't
for
believe that
sloppy
acting
acting.
sloppy acting really.
Oh yeah.
Um
Because I will say, there are some moments that you can get a really good laugh
mhm.
out of the acting in the original trilogy
Yeah.
because it's freaking 80s.
Yeah.
And just the way people move and talk back then are much different than now.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with now, or back in the 1990s, early 2000s, they played it off like a soap opera.
Yeah, especially in episode 2.
Episode 2 was such a damn soap opera,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
which is why I got watching it again made me mad. Watching that one, watching 3 made me very mad. Because I know Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor. I have seen him on the West End as Sky Masterson.
And I don't believe that since it was all, done after the fact, all these special effects done after the fact, there's not much that you can act with.
Yeah. There's no danger
maybe
to it.
in episode 2 when they're going through the droid thing, like, how is it that they're supposed to act when they don't even know what's happening? They understand what's going to happen, when the film is done, but is Natalie Portman really going to give us, the fear that it would be of these huge things going to stomp her and kill her? Is she really going to do that? And then also in 3, when it shows Anakin killing the younglings and things like that, is Ewan McGregor going to give us the
needed?
And he didn't.
No.
He failed.
No.
I mean, those
not
lines,
enough.
There wasn't any heart to any of it.
Yeah.
None.
Because even when you, I don't even remember what it was.
Whereas, even though in Empire, when Luke sits there and goes, no, that can't be true. That's impossible. It's a tad bit overacting.
It's a little bit overacting.
It's a little overacting. It's just like when Luke runs through the door in Return of the Jedi, and there's that bar there, and so he runs up to the bar and goes, and shakes his head around like a lunatic.
It's a little bit overacting,
but you could actually see
fear.
The fear in his eyes, though.
There are fucking clones coming after me, and they're gonna kill me.
Every single movie in the original trilogy, every single 4, 5, 6,
the one you can really see it
as individual movies, every single one of them is better than all of the prequel trilogy together
because of the acting,
because of everything.
One of the scenes that really sticks out to me, since being an actor and being a director, is the scene where they're going to get squashed.
Which one?
In the compactor.
Oh, yeah.
And
because guess what? The walls were actually moving.
There was an actual chance that you're getting squished.
Yeah.
And so you hear Luke screaming.
And then when they stop, and then the
sigh of relief,
the overjoy that they have it's infectious, really.
Yeah, because these actors were in legitimate danger. In a way.
In a way, yeah.
Because The walls would.
But when the walls are closing in on you, it doesn't matter if you're acting a part. The walls are still closing in on you.
It's scary.
You know, I'm sure that would be scary as hell.
Just being from a person who has claustrophobia themselves, going through haunted houses for a while, the worst fear I have ever felt going through a house was at a petrified forest, and you had to walk through those fucking white things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the claustrophobia.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
What they had is these 2 airbags that I almost cried in because I had to walk through both. I was not a happy camper when I was told I had to walk through it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, give me your hand because I can't describe it. They're like this. Mm-hmm. And you have to squeeze your ass through. Yeah. My whole thought is this is what it's like for those actors. Seeing those walls close in, you're going, fuck. Yeah, I'm stuck in here.
There's no way I'm getting out.
There's no way I'm getting out.
Yeah. Our only hope is that
R2-D2 stops these walls.
Yeah.
And then that fear. That emotion.
What I'm saying is that J.J. Abrams has already said that he is not going to half-ass it.
Good. So they're going to build.
They've already built a full Millennium Falcon. I mean, full-size, walk in and out of
I want to visit it.
A Millennium Falcon.
I want to go visit it.
So I know that they've already created the set, you know, and things of that nature. They're not going to half-ass these things. They're going to, you know, Abrams has said that he's going to build these things. Now, when the Millennium Falcon is flying through the air, there's no freaking way in hell that you would build and do it the way that they did in the original trilogy.
No.
That's fine. It's a waste of time in this day and age. But there are some things that it freaking looks better if you just build them and give your actors something to act with.
Yeah, a set.
Give them something to act with to get into the part instead of putting them in front of green screens the whole damn time.
Because green screens...
I swear to God, I don't think that there was a single second of episode 3 that wasn't in front of a green screen.
The one that really upset me is that final fight on the fire planet.
Oh, you know that was all green screen.
You know that's green screen. But the problem with it is that the acting fails with it.
And
there's
also,
no danger with it. The fact that they are fighting...
They're on a volcano planet.
There's an innate fear.
Why are they not hot? Why are they not even sweating?
There should be an innate fear with that. Mm-hmm. With being on that planet itself. Mm-hmm. That you should feel underlying that scene. Then there needs to be another layer of fear. The fact that you're fighting and it's collapsing around you. The lava is getting pretty damn close to you.
Mm-hmm. And then you're falling off of a lava waterfall.
Which I can tell you just playing Minecraft. I see a lava waterfall and I walk the other way because I go, I'm not fucking with that.
Yeah.
Because there's an innate fear with fire. There's an innate fear of volcanoes.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the guys in the original trilogy, they only had, you know, they were on the set. They were fully immersed in these roles. And I believe that that's why they gave a better performance.
You know, for Hoth, they were actually in a very cold climate for that. Mm-hmm. Why do you think when you look at poor Carrie Fisher, she is legitimate?
Yeah.
Because she's freezing.
The other things that I like about, and so I'm going to straight up.
I feel bad for what's his name, Mark Hamill, who had to lay face down in the snow.
Yeah, we do need to cut this.
Oh, how long have we been talking?
We've been talking for a long time.
Oh, shit.
Over an hour now, but
I like Star Wars. You got me to like it more.
I know, because we watched it as adults, and that's why. I believe that it's because we went back and we watched as adults why we like it a lot. And I'm going to say, and I know this is cliche as fuck, but Empire is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. and I believe that. See, Empire is my favorite for a few things. So, it's Luke is becoming a Jedi at this point.
Yeah.
He's actually full on in his training. And when he's on Dagobah with Yoda, and then he goes into that place where Yoda says, there's a lot of the dark side in there, and then so he fights off against a faux Vader, cuts off his head, and then it explodes, and you see Luke's face in there, and the symbolism fucking blew my mind as I finally understood what that meant.
He saw the darkness in himself.
Hold on, the dark side is telling him it took his fear and literally personified his fear of this is what you can become
if you aren't careful.
And you don't stay the way of the Jedi, and that just it blew my mind. And then the other part about it I like is the sexual tension between Han and Leia in Empire.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic. It's a much I like it a lot more than when they're in Jedi. They're together.
Yeah.
That they love each other. It's been established. So that they're going to and those things are cute. So when he goes, "Who are you?" and she takes somebody who loves you, and then other ones where
melt.
when Leia gets him back at the end and she gets shot, and then the stormtroopers come up behind Han and she pulls out the gun and he just sits there and goes, "I love you," and she goes, "I know." Now, so that is just that's freaking great, and that's what I liked about Jedi as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the things like when she is trying to fix that piece on the Falcon, and Han's just over top of her going like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "You're a scoundrel," and he goes, "Are you sure you don't like scoundrels?" I mean, it's just like You're just like, "Oh, just cut it with a knife. Just give it to me now. I want you guys to just get all in each other." It was fantastic. And then not only that is
one of my favorite lines is when so Leia finds out she's Luke's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting there upset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's visually upset. And he's like, Han's like, "What is the matter?" And he's like, "You love him, don't you?"
Mm-hmm.
And Leia's like, "I don't want to talk about this right now."
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "It's okay. When he comes back, I'll leave." And she's like, she's infuriated with him.
He doesn't say that then. When
I mixed up two scenes.
Yeah, you mixed up two scenes. So
he
says no, you'll remember. He says he goes, I can't talk with you about it. And he goes, "Oh, but you could talk to Luke about it?" And
yes,
he says
that's
that.
it.
And then she goes, she's just like
she's upset.
She's really upset. And then at the end when he sits there and goes, Luke wasn't on that thing when it blew. And she goes, "I know, I can feel it." And he goes, "You love him, don't you?" And she goes, "He's my brother."
The look that he gives is actually kind of how my look would have been. "Oh my God, you've made out with him.
Wait a minute, you kissed him.
But wait, that means you're mine."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He goes through about 5 different emotions.
Him, but really, there's nothing I ever had to worry about because you weren't ever going to be with him ever, which means you're mine. Oh, you're mine. Oh, okay. All right. Let's get this on.
It's that he actually has a varying amount of emotions,
mm-hmm.
which is why I like it.
Yeah. And I like Cloud City too. I think it's a fantastic set.
Yes.
To be on, I think it's fantastic. And then so that fight with Darth Vader is actually the best one. I think that
which one?
In Empire, on Cloud City.
Okay.
I think that fight with Darth Vader is actually the best one, because I think that the one in Jedi was it's a little too hate fueled.
On both sides.
And and I think that it's just cool that this is Luke's first time that he's ever gone off against Vader, and it's
or
awful.
really used a lightsaber.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful that he doesn't have the power that he has in Jedi to go up against him. And the fight scene in Jedi is just, I mean, is excellent because you actually see Luke as a full-on Jedi with all of his power there, and he is standing toe-to-toe with this menace.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just
But one of my favorite things about Luke compared to Anakin ended up giving in to the hate.
Yeah.
And Luke realizes he's giving into it and goes, no.
Throws his lightsaber away.
Yeah.
Throws his lightsaber away.
He says, I'm not doing this.
I will never join you. That just, I mean, it just shows the strength of him. You know, he wouldn't let anything get to him. Mm-hmm.
Which honestly just made me like him more than Anakin.
But I mean, the whole reason that Empire is
We've
just
been like talking for almost 2 hours. I bet.
This is an hour and 14, but there's a little bit of cutting out I have to do.
I know.
But the
we need to shut
the reason that I like Empire just that much more is everything that went into it. I believe that my favorite thing about Jedi is Luke, and that he is a Jedi at that point. You know, he is a full-on Jedi Knight. You know, and he has all of his power, and he understands his power at that point, which is really cool.
I will say, Mark Hamill is one of my favorite actors.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been in much, like he did Star Wars, but then he did a lot of voice work, which I never knew I was a kid, but he became my Joker, and so. Watching him back as Luke, there were actually certain moments I was like, there's Joker. Mm-hmm. Joker's coming out there. Like when he's screaming in the trailer. There, I call it a trailer. It's not a trailer. Trash compactor. And he's like, there's that one point one of the screams he does, he sounds like Joker. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got kind of like, nerdy girl fangirling because I was like, oh my gosh, Joker was coming out of him. Yeah,
I agree.
But he's one of my favorite actors because even though he may have not done much on screen, he's done a lot. Yeah, and the fact that he's coming back on screen for
The Force Awakens.
Yeah. I am excited.
I'm really excited for Force Awakens.
The problem is that when you see him now,
but
he isn't in the best of shape.
That's what I'm saying. But
neither is Carrie Fisher.
I really liked. I loved every bit of all three of those original trilogies, and I like 1, 2, and 3 for what they are.
But you just adaptations on a prologue that it should not have been.
Yeah. Yep, they're an adaptation of a prequel that shouldn't have been, is what it was. And they're good movies.
Oh, yes.
Aside from Hayden Christensen, they're good movies.
And Baby Boba Fett.
And Baby Boba Fett. But you just can't take their story, and you can't say that they're a real Star Wars movie because the story it doesn't fit together.
No.
It just doesn't.
It's like you're forcing the puzzle pieces.
Another thing that we'll close off with this. Luke goes to Leia in Jedi and says, "Do you remember your mother, your real mother?" And she says, "Only a little. She died when I was very young." According to the prequel, she died in childbirth. How very young can you get? And then she says, I only remember images and emotions. Feelings. It's like, how the hell do you understand? Do you have images and feelings of your mother when she died the second you came out of her?
Like, you got held up to her, and she said, Leia.
Yeah, pretty much. Luke, Leia, they're still good in him. That's it.
Yep.
Just everything that is said in 4, 5, and 6, just the prequels just totally throw it out almost. Other than a few things. The only thing that the prequel did right, and this was the only effing thing that the prequel did right, was that Obi-Wan took Anakin's lightsaber. And so that's how Obi-Wan had it in episode 4. That's the only effing thing they did right as far as story and canon go.
They didn't even do that right. Because they were like, your father wanted you to have
Yeah, your
this.
father wanted you to have this when you were younger.
How?
Like, how? He was Darth freaking Vader, and you left him to die on that damn planet. Don't even sit there and talk to me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So.
There was no way that he would have wanted you to have it because he wouldn't have fucking known you were born.
Damn straight. Now, that could have been something that Obi-Wan said because, you know.
Because
he was, you know, lying about.
True. Making it
so,
seem like, oh, yes, Darth Vader killed your father.
That could have been a lie that Obi-Wan said.
But it still pissed me off.
Yeah, it did piss me off. So, but we've got to go.
Yeah.
We've talked way too long.
And we have to go grocery
However,
shopping.
There were lots of things that I had to talk about. So,
Elfie.
So everyone, you've gotten an hour-long show on just us talking about Star Wars. So there you go. And you see
welcome.
you see why I wanted to do these special ones and not take up a full regular episode of the Prolonged Engagement show talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, we kind of needed it.
I told you. We had a lot to talk about, and so this is what we did. Everyone, this has been our first special episode of the Prolonged Engagement show. This was our Star Wars episode.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be Star Wars as the title.
Yeah. I'm going to call it special episode number 1, Star Wars is what I'm going to call it. At any rate, follow us on Twitter. I'm at Sound Overlord. Sarah's at
The Dark Raven 13.
Follow the show at TPE_show. Go to the Prolonged Engagement show. No, the prolongedengagement.com for all of our video and audio. Go to youtube.com/the Prolonged Engagement show. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, say it's two lovebirds talking about a bunch of random shit, and we will see you. We recorded yesterday a Let's Play of FIFA 15.
I won.
Technically, actually, we played. If you watch it, we actually did a penalty shootout after the tie, and Sarah actually beat me on the penalty shootout, which I should have recorded but didn't. At any rate, we ended up tying 3-3. It was DC United against Orlando City SC. So go watch that. It was a lot of fun doing. And all that good stuff.
You admitted though that you shouldn't have taught me.
No, I shouldn't have taught you. I should have just let you flounder and keep on beating the shit out of you on that game. But I taught you, and now it's much more fun to play since I'm actually playing against somebody who can do it.
The master has to give their hats off to the Padawan.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, we will see you for a regular show of the Prolonged Engagement show on Saturday afternoon at noon.
We will be having a special guest on if we can get him not to be a little whiny butt.
He won't be here by then.
Yes, he will. We
record them on Fridays so that they're released on Saturdays. He will not be here.
Oh, never mind.
The following TPE show, we should have a special guest on with us as well. The first one ever. Should be fun.
Hopefully.
Right.
If
so
he's
we'll
not
see
a
you guys.
Whiny butt.
We'll see you guys on Saturday at noon. Have a good week until then, and we'll see you later.
Bye.